Maid's daughter used her last $5 to help an old veteran. Next day, 100 Navy SEALs knocked on her door. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. In a small, weathered apartment, nestled on the outskirts of the city, lived a young girl named Lily. Life was tough for Lily and her mother, Maria, who worked as a housekeeper in a large, luxurious estate. Despite their struggles, Lily always carried a bright smile, a heart full of compassion, and a deep belief that even the smallest act of kindness could change the world. One chilly evening, Lily found herself walking home from school when she noticed an elderly man sitting on the steps of a rundown building, looking tired and weary. His clothes were ragged, and his eyes seemed distant, as though burdened by memories of a past long forgotten. He was a veteran, someone who had given his youth for a cause greater than himself. But now, here he sat, alone, in need of help. Lily, although just a child, understood the weight of loneliness. She walked up to him cautiously, her small hand clutching a crumpled $5 bill she had saved from her lunch money. With a gentle voice, she offered it to him. "I don't have much, but I hope this helps," she said softly. The old man looked up at her, his eyes filled with gratitude but also with a hint of sadness. "Thank you, young lady," he said in a rasping voice, his hands trembling slightly as he took the money. Lily gave him a warm smile, and for a moment, they shared a quiet understanding. She walked away, feeling a sense of fulfillment, knowing she had done something good, even if it was small. What Lily didn't know was that her simple, selfless act of kindness would soon set into motion a series of events that would change her life forever. The next morning, as Lily and her mother were going about their usual morning routine, a knock echoed through their door. When Maria opened it, she was stunned to find a group of men in military uniforms standing on their doorstep, their faces serious but respectful. "Is this the residence of Lily Thompson?" one of them asked. Maria, confused but curious, nodded. "Yes, she's inside," she replied, unsure of what this unexpected visit meant. "Ma'am, we are here on behalf of someone very special who wishes to meet your daughter. We were told she helped a veteran yesterday, and that act of kindness has not gone unnoticed. We need Lily to come with us." Lily, who had been sitting quietly in her room, was now standing at the door, wide-eyed and speechless. "Who are they, Mom?" she whispered. Maria's heart raced, and a sense of unease filled the air. The men looked at each other, then turned back to Maria with a reassuring smile. "Don't worry, ma'am. We are here to ensure Lily's safety. There is someone who wants to thank her for what she did." At that moment, Maria had no idea that her daughter's simple $5 donation was about to lead them into a world of unimaginable surprises. Lily stepped outside, still trying to process what was happening, as one of the men gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Lily, you have no idea what this small act of kindness has done. We're here to show you something extraordinary." What could these men want? And what had she truly started by giving away the last of her money to a stranger? The answers would unfold in a way that neither Lily nor her mother could have ever imagined. As Lily stepped outside, her small frame was surrounded by the imposing figures of the Navy SEALs, their serious expressions making her heart race with both excitement and nervousness. She looked back at her mother, who stood in the doorway, equally confused and concerned. One of the men, taller than the others and wearing dark sunglasses, stepped forward and spoke in a calm, authoritative voice. "Lily, we're here to show you something extraordinary. Please, come with us." With that, the group of Navy SEALs led Lily down the stairs and toward a black SUV parked at the curb. Maria stood frozen, watching as her daughter was escorted into the vehicle, her mind spinning with questions. As the car began to pull away, Maria hurriedly followed behind, unsure of what was happening but feeling an undeniable need to be there for her daughter. The drive was long, and Lily sat quietly, her thoughts a whirlwind of confusion. The SEALs said little, but their presence made it clear that something serious was unfolding. Finally, the car pulled into a secluded area just outside of the city, where a large, secure facility stood, its walls high and fortified. Lily's stomach churned with nerves as they entered the compound. "Where are we?" she whispered, looking around. "You'll see soon enough," the SEAL who had been guiding them said, his tone softening for a moment. They entered a building that felt like something out of a movie, sleek, modern, and filled with the hum of equipment and technology. Lily's wide eyes couldn't take in everything fast enough. The walls were lined with military insignia, and the air smelled sterile and unfamiliar. The group led her into a room where a man in a well-tailored suit was waiting. He was older than the SEALs, with a stern face and an aura of power that made Lily nervous. But there was something about him that also seemed oddly reassuring. He stood up as they entered, his eyes locking with Lily's. "Lily," he began, his voice firm but kind. "I am Admiral Thomas Bennett. I've been briefed on your incredible act of kindness." Lily looked at him, unsure of what was happening. "I don't understand," she said quietly, her voice trembling slightly. "I only gave him $5. It wasn't a big deal." Admiral Bennett smiled, a slight glint of admiration in his eyes. "That's where you're wrong, Lily. You see, the man you helped yesterday, he wasn't just any ordinary person. He's a veteran who saved many lives during his service, and his actions saved countless others. He's been keeping a secret for years, one that connects him to a very important mission." Lily's confusion deepened, and she opened her mouth to ask more, but Admiral Bennett raised his hand to stop her. "You'll learn everything in time," he continued. "What you did for him yesterday was not just an act of kindness. It was the beginning of something much greater, a mission you never could have expected." Just then, the door opened, and another figure entered the room. He was older, with graying hair and a weathered face, but there was something undeniably powerful about him. "Lily," the man said with a warm smile, "I'm Captain David Hawkins. It's an honor to meet you." Lily's eyes widened as she recognized the man standing before her. He was the veteran she had helped the day before. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks, and she couldn't believe it. You're the one I helped?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Captain Hawkins nodded. "Yes, Lily. And because of your kindness, we are now asking for your help. You've proven that you have the heart and courage to be part of something bigger than yourself. We need you for a special mission." Lily looked around the room at the SEALs, then back at Captain Hawkins and Admiral Bennett. Her heart raced as she tried to process everything. "What kind of mission?" she asked, her voice shaky but filled with determination. Admiral Bennett smiled again. "You'll be briefed soon. But for now, just know this. You've changed more than just one life by helping that veteran. You've started a chain of events that will lead to something extraordinary. Welcome to the team, Lily." The words hung in the air, heavy with promise and uncertainty. Lily took a deep breath, her mind still racing, but something inside her felt certain. Her life, her mother's life, and everything she had known was about to change in ways she could never have imagined. As Lily sat there, surrounded by Navy SEALs and high-ranking officers, her mind was racing, trying to piece together what was happening. She had gone from helping a veteran with the last $5 she had to being brought into a secret mission she could not comprehend. The room was filled with a tension that made her stomach churn. She had never imagined that one small act of kindness could lead to this. Captain Hawkins, the elderly veteran she had helped, stood beside her. His presence, calm yet strong, was a comfort in this confusing moment. The SEALs, who had once seemed so distant and intimidating, now felt like protectors. Admiral Bennett, the man who had first spoken to her, sat across the room, his eyes focused on Lily. "You may not understand yet," Admiral Bennett began, breaking the silence. "But what you did yesterday was not just a kind gesture. You unknowingly saved a life and set in motion a series of events that could change the course of history." Lily looked at him, still trying to wrap her head around the words. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. Captain Hawkins stepped forward, his weathered face softening. "The man you helped is no ordinary veteran. He was part of a special mission long ago, one that has been kept secret for decades. He holds information that could save lives, but he's been hiding it because of threats to his life." Lily's eyes widened. "I didn't know. I just wanted to help him." "Your kindness was more than just an act of charity," Captain Hawkins continued. "It was the key to unlocking a network of allies who have been working in the shadows for years, trying to protect the innocent. And you, Lily, are now part of that network. Admiral Bennett nodded. We have been following the movements of certain individuals who want to exploit the information the veteran holds. These people are dangerous, and they have been tracking him for years. But because of you, the veteran is safe, and now, we need your help to ensure that the threat to his life is eliminated once and for all. Lily felt her heart race as the weight of the situation settled on her. She had always dreamed of doing something important, but this was far beyond anything she could have imagined. What do I have to do? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. We need you to deliver a message, Admiral Bennett explained. A message that will make the enemy believe the veteran is no longer a threat. By doing so, you will help protect him and prevent them from taking any further action. The thought of being involved in something so dangerous made Lily's head spin, but there was a determination growing within her. She had done something good once, and now, she could do something even greater. I understand, she said, her voice steady despite the fear she felt. What's the plan? Captain Hawkins smiled, his eyes gleaming with pride. You're not alone in this, Lily. We've been training for this moment, and now it's time to act. You've proven that you have the courage to stand up when it matters most. We'll guide you every step of the way. As Lily looked around the room at the SEALs, she felt a sense of empowerment. She had just stepped into a world she had never known existed, but one thing was clear. Her life would never be the same again. The mission was now in her hands, and no matter how scared she was, she knew she had to do everything she could to help keep the veteran, and those she cared about, safe. The days that followed felt like a blur to Lily. She was no longer just a regular girl. She had become part of something much larger, something she couldn't fully comprehend. Each day brought new lessons, new challenges, and more questions. The Navy SEALs had placed their trust in her, and she was determined not to let them down. After her first briefing, Lily had been taken to a secure training facility where she was introduced to a world she never thought possible. The walls were lined with technology and maps, and the air was thick with the sense of purpose. She felt both out of place and deeply honored to be there. We're preparing you for a crucial mission, Admiral Bennett had explained. This mission will require more than just physical strength. It will require intelligence, quick thinking, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. You've shown us that you have the heart for this, Lily. Now we need to make sure you're ready. Lily had spent the following days in intense training. She learned how to handle various types of communication equipment, how to read encrypted messages, and even how to defend herself if the situation ever called for it. She was amazed by the amount of knowledge she was gaining, but nothing prepared her for the moment when they told her the real purpose of her involvement. The mission you're about to undertake is critical, Captain Hawkins had said, his voice steady and serious. The veteran you helped is not just any ordinary man. He holds information about a dangerous group, one that has been operating under the radar for years. They've infiltrated multiple levels of government, and we need to stop them before they can cause irreversible damage. Lily's heart raced as the weight of their words sank in. She had been part of something much bigger than she ever could have imagined. Her simple act of kindness had led her here, and now she had a responsibility. You won't be alone in this, Admiral Bennett assured her. We have a team of professionals, including former operatives who know how to handle situations like this. But we're counting on you to be the key that unlocks the next phase of our plan. You'll need to act quickly, decisively, and without hesitation. The night before the mission, Lily couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, her mind racing with doubts and fears. What if she wasn't ready? What if she failed? But deep down, she knew there was no turning back now. She had already made the decision to help, and she wasn't going to back down. The next morning, the SEALs gathered around her, preparing for the mission. This is it, Lily, Captain Hawkins said, his voice firm. You've been trained, you know your role, and we believe in you. Lily nodded, her nerves replaced by a newfound sense of determination. As they boarded the helicopter that would take them to their destination, she looked out the window, the vast landscape stretching out beneath them. For the first time since this all began, she felt a sense of clarity. She wasn't just helping a veteran anymore. She was part of a team that was going to change the world. The mission was no longer just about her. It was about protecting those who couldn't protect themselves, about stopping a threat that had been lurking in the shadows for far too long. As the helicopter soared into the sky, Lily's resolve grew stronger. She was ready for whatever came next. As the helicopter descended toward their destination, Lily could feel her heart pounding in her chest. The vast expanse of trees and rugged terrain beneath them made her feel small, but there was no turning back now. She had made a promise, to herself, to the veteran, and to the team that trusted her. The mission was simple, yet it carried with it immense weight. They had to stop a group of people who had been operating in the shadows, and Lily was about to play a crucial role in making that happen. The helicopter touched down softly on the ground, and the SEALs moved quickly, their movements sharp and precise. The silence of the wilderness around them felt eerie, but Lily stayed focused. She was determined. As they gathered their gear and moved out, Captain Hawkins gave her a quick nod, signaling that it was time to go. Lily followed closely behind the team, her heart still racing, but her mind clear. The team's quick, coordinated steps kept her moving forward, each of them prepared for what lay ahead. They reached a small, hidden compound deep in the forest. It was well secured, but not as impenetrable as it seemed. Lily's role was clear. She would be the one to infiltrate and gain the trust of those inside, getting close to the key person who held the critical information. She had already been trained in communication and handling sensitive situations, but nothing could prepare her for what came next. The plan was set. Lily would pose as someone seeking information, someone they wouldn't suspect. She had done her research, she knew what she was up against, and she was ready to face it. As she approached the compound, a sudden wave of doubt hit her. What if they saw through her? What if she wasn't as prepared as she thought? But then she remembered why she was doing this. The same reason she helped the veteran in the first place, to protect the innocent. Her confidence returned, and she walked forward with purpose. Inside the compound, the atmosphere was tense. The people here were part of the organization that had been operating in the shadows, pulling strings for years. Lily's job was to get close to the person who knew the most about their operations, the one who could bring everything to light. She was briefed on the layout, the personalities of the key players, and the trust they had in each other. The moment she entered the room where the key figure sat, she could feel the weight of the situation. This was the person who could make or break the mission. She had to be convincing. She introduced herself with a calm, collected demeanor, hiding any trace of nervousness behind a confident smile. She spoke of shared interests, of mutual goals, and slowly, but surely, she began to build trust. Every word she said was calculated. Every move she made was part of a larger plan. Hours passed, and the conversation flowed. The key figure opened up, unaware that Lily's intentions were far from what they thought. But Lily knew that this was just the beginning. She had gained their trust, but the real challenge was yet to come. The information she had obtained would change everything. With the mission halfway done, Lily couldn't help but reflect on how far she had come. She had gone from helping a stranger on the street to now being involved in a mission of national importance. The stakes had never been higher, but Lily was ready to see it through. The next move was critical. She had to act swiftly, carefully, and most of all, she had to stay true to her mission. The weight of her responsibility pressed down on her, but she would not let it stop her. The lives of so many depended on what she did next. As Lily sat in the dimly lit room, her heart racing, she could feel the weight of the information she had just uncovered. She had successfully gained the trust of the key figure inside the compound, but now came the real test. She had to get out and get the intelligence back to the SEALs before it was too late. The plan was set, and the clock was ticking. The SEALs were waiting for her on the outside, but the moment Lily stepped into the next room, she knew something had changed. The atmosphere had shifted, and the security seemed tighter than before. She wasn't sure whether she had been too convincing, or if the people inside the compound were getting suspicious of her intentions. Her pulse quickened as she carefully walked through the hallway, trying to remain calm. The halls were now quieter, the hum of activity replaced with an eerie stillness. As Lily moved forward, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. The small movements of the guards, the way their eyes tracked her every step, it all felt wrong. She was no longer in control of the situation. She needed to act fast. She could hear the sound of footsteps behind her, quick and steady. She turned a corner, hoping to lose them, but it was too late. The door ahead of her swung open, and two men stepped in, blocking her path. "Where do you think you're going?" one of them asked, his voice low and dangerous. Lily's heart skipped a beat, but she didn't hesitate. "I'm just heading to the bathroom," she said calmly, her voice steady. You don't need to worry about me. The men exchanged a look, their suspicion obvious. We're going to have to check your bag, the other man said. Lily's mind raced. She had nothing on her that could reveal her true mission, but she knew they would never let her go without some kind of check. She needed to think quickly. She glanced down at her bag and noticed the small flash drive inside, the one containing the critical information she had just learned. If they found it, everything would be over. Without missing a beat, she opened the bag and fumbled around, pretending to search for something else. It's just my personal items, she said, trying to keep her voice from trembling. I don't have anything to hide. The first man took a step closer, his eyes narrowing. Let's see what's inside, he demanded. With every second that passed, Lily's anxiety grew. She knew she had no choice but to make a move. As the man reached for her bag, Lily took a deep breath and made her decision. She swung the bag away from him and bolted, running as fast as she could. The sound of boots pounding against the floor echoed behind her, but she didn't look back. She turned another corner, her mind laser-focused on getting to the exit. The guards were yelling now, but she could already see the exit door ahead. It was only a matter of seconds before they caught up to her, but Lily knew she had to get outside. She had to warn the SEALs. As she reached the door, she could hear the guards closing in. She pushed the door open with all her strength, feeling the cool air hit her face as she sprinted into the open. Her legs were burning, her chest tight, but she kept running, her goal clear in her mind. The SEALs had to know what she had learned. Just as she reached the rendezvous point, she felt a hand on her shoulder. She spun around, ready to fight, but found herself facing Captain Hawkins. You made it, he said with a relieved smile. We've been waiting for you. Lily let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding, and without saying a word, handed him the flash drive. It's all here, she said, her voice steady. We need to act fast. Captain Hawkins nodded. We're already on it. You've done your part, Lily. Now, let's bring this to an end. As Lily stood there, her heart still racing, she knew the mission was far from over, but for the first time since it all began, she felt like she was exactly where she needed to be. As Lily stood there, handing the flash drive to Captain Hawkins, she felt a strange mix of exhaustion and relief. The hard part was over, at least, the part she had been involved in. The mission had taken everything out of her. The physical exhaustion from the training, the mental strain from constantly having to stay one step ahead of everyone else, and the fear that had gripped her every time she had to act. Everything was catching up to her. But now, with the information secured, it was time for the SEALs to take over. Good work, Lily, Captain Hawkins said, his voice full of praise. You did more than we could have asked for. Now we move to the next stage. Lily nodded, trying to steady her breath. She had done her part, but now, the fate of the mission rested in the hands of the SEALs. They quickly activated a secure channel and began to process the intelligence she had gathered. The information she had obtained on the inner workings of the enemy organization was invaluable. It was more than they had hoped for. Captain Hawkins wasted no time. We're calling in the rest of the team. We're going to launch an operation tonight. This is our best chance to take them down once and for all. The rest of the team moved swiftly, coordinating the final steps of the plan. The SEALs were methodical, precise, and deadly. Lily watched as they worked, impressed by their focus and expertise. There was no hesitation in their movements, no room for mistakes. They had prepared for this moment for years, and now it was time to execute. As night fell, the SEALs prepared to move out. Lily stood off to the side, her hands clenched, watching the team as they suited up and made their final checks. She had been involved in the initial stages, but this next phase was dangerous. It was beyond what she had imagined when she first stepped into this world. Captain Hawkins came over to her. You've earned the right to stay behind and watch, he said, his tone respectful but firm. But you've done your job. Get some rest. We'll handle it from here. Lily felt a deep sense of pride as she nodded in response. She had been a part of something far bigger than she could have ever imagined. Now, all she could do was wait and trust that everything they had worked for would pay off. The team moved out under the cover of darkness, disappearing into the night as silently as shadows. Lily watched them go, knowing that this operation was crucial. The mission had to succeed. The world, and the people she cared about, depended on it. She stood there for a moment, her thoughts swirling. She thought about her mother, about the life she had known, and about how everything had changed so drastically in such a short time. She had started as a simple girl, helping a man in need, and now she was standing on the edge of something much bigger. The operation unfolded quickly. The team infiltrated the compound, their movements swift and precise, eliminating any threats in their path. Lily, though she wasn't physically there with them, could feel the weight of the operation in her bones. She knew they were close to completing the mission. She had helped make this moment possible. As the hours passed, her anxiety grew. She didn't know what was happening on the ground, but she trusted the team. She had seen them in action, and she knew they were more than capable of handling whatever came their way. After what felt like an eternity, the communication channel crackled to life. "Mission accomplished," came the voice of Captain Hawkins. "The enemy has been neutralized. The information is safe." Lily let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. The mission was a success. They had done it. They had stopped a dangerous organization, and the world was a little bit safer because of it. She smiled, feeling a sense of pride she had never known before. She had been part of something extraordinary, and for the first time, she truly understood the impact of her actions. The operation was over, but for Lily, this was just the beginning. She had learned that one act of kindness could change everything, and she would never forget the lesson it had taught her. As Lily stood there, hearing the words "mission accomplished" echoing through the radio, a sense of relief washed over her. It was over. The dangerous organization had been taken down, and the mission was a success. The world was a little safer now, thanks to the hard work of the Navy SEALs, the intelligence gathered, and, of course, her own courage. The weight of the mission had been heavy on her shoulders, but now, it felt like she could finally breathe. However, in the midst of her relief, something else stirred inside her, a sense of responsibility. What had started as a simple act of kindness had led her to a world she never imagined, and now, she had been part of something much larger than herself. As the SEALs packed up and began to head back to their base, Captain Hawkins came over to Lily. "You did well," he said, his voice sincere. "You played a crucial role in this operation. You've proven that no matter how small the action, it can have an enormous impact." Lily nodded, feeling both proud and humbled by his words. She had never imagined that one decision, one small act of kindness, would lead to this moment. "Thank you," she replied softly, her voice filled with gratitude. "I didn't know what I was getting into at first, but I'm glad I was able to help." Captain Hawkins gave her a small, approving smile. "You've got a lot of potential, Lily. If you ever want to join us again, there's always a place for you." The words hit her harder than she expected. She had come from a life of simplicity, and now, she was being offered a chance to be part of something much bigger. It was a lot to take in, and Lily wasn't sure what the future held, but for the first time, she felt like she had a purpose. She had made a difference, and that was something she would never forget. As the team left the compound, Lily stayed behind for a moment, letting the silence sink in. The weight of the past few days had been overwhelming, but now she could look back with a sense of accomplishment. She had helped stop something dangerous, and her life had been forever changed by the experience. She thought about her mother, Maria, and the simple life they had shared before this mission. Her mother had always wanted the best for her, and though she hadn't fully understood what Lily had been involved in, she knew her daughter had done something important. The journey that had begun with a simple act of compassion had transformed Lily into someone who understood the value of courage, of standing up for what was right, and of knowing that even the smallest of actions could have far-reaching consequences. As Lily made her way back home, her thoughts were filled with a mixture of gratitude and wonder. She knew the world had changed for her, and she had changed for it. She had proven to herself that even someone with so little could make an impact, and that one moment of kindness could ripple out to touch lives in ways unimaginable. The mission had ended, but for Lily, this was only the beginning. There were more challenges ahead, more opportunities to make a difference, and now she knew that she had the strength and courage to face whatever came her way. As Lily stood at the threshold of her home, the weight of the past few days finally began to sink in. The simple, quiet life she had known before had changed forever. The girl who once helped a veteran with the last of her money had now been part of a mission that saved lives, stopped a dangerous organization, and made a significant impact in a world much larger than she had ever imagined. She entered the small apartment, where Maria, her mother, was sitting at the kitchen table, reading a book. Maria looked up, her tired eyes filled with concern, but also with a sense of relief as she saw her daughter walking through the door, safe and sound. "Lily, you're back. I was worried about you," Maria said, her voice full of love and worry. Lily smiled, walking over and giving her mother a warm hug. "I'm fine, Mom. I'm really fine." She had always kept her mother in the dark about the details of what she had been involved in, but now she realized how much her mother had supported her. Maria had always encouraged Lily to do the right thing, no matter how small the act, and Lily now understood the true power of those words. As they sat down together, Lily began to share with her mother everything that had happened. She told Maria about the mission, the seals, and how one small act of kindness had set everything in motion. Maria listened in stunned silence, absorbing the gravity of her daughter's role in such a life-changing event. "I never imagined, Lily," Maria said softly. "You've done something incredible. I'm so proud of you." Lily smiled, her heart full. "I didn't do it alone, Mom. I was just one part of something much bigger. But I learned something. One small act of kindness can lead to something extraordinary." The days that followed were filled with reflection. Lily had been forever changed by the mission, but so had the people around her. The operation had been successful, and the world was a little safer because of the actions she had taken. But for Lily, it was more than just a victory in the field. It was a lesson in the power of compassion, the importance of doing what was right, and how even the smallest decisions could create ripples that touched lives in ways she had never imagined. She no longer viewed the world through the lens of the quiet, everyday life she had once known. Now, she saw how interconnected everything was, how every action, every choice, mattered. Lily's journey had started with helping a veteran on the street, and now, she had become part of a global effort to make the world a better place. She had stepped up when it mattered, and in doing so, had found her own strength. The future was uncertain, and there were still challenges ahead, but Lily knew she was ready. She had proven that kindness and courage were more than just abstract concepts. They were powerful forces for change. As Lily sat with her mother that night, she made a silent promise to herself. She would continue to stand up for what was right, to make a difference, no matter how small the action. She had already proven that one person could change everything, and she was ready to take on whatever came next. Life had a way of throwing unexpected challenges her way, but now she understood that even in the darkest times, there was always a chance to make a positive impact. The story of the young girl who helped a veteran with $5 would be remembered as more than just an act of kindness. It would be remembered as the moment that changed everything, not just for her, but for everyone who believed in the power of a single, selfless act. In this captivating millionaire story, a young girl's selfless act of kindness leads her into a world of danger, heroism, and unexpected challenges. When Lily, a humble girl with limited means, helps an old veteran with her last $5, she unwittingly becomes a key player in a mission to stop a dangerous global threat. This millionaire story unfolds as Lily's courage and determination lead her to join forces with Navy SEALs, uncover hidden secrets, and prevent a catastrophe. The story takes viewers on an incredible journey of how one small act of kindness can spark a chain of events that changes everything. As Lily navigates the complexities of espionage, high-stakes missions, and life-altering decisions, she learns that even the most unlikely people can make a significant impact on the world. This millionaire story is a testament to the power of compassion, bravery, and the unexpected ways that kindness can ripple through life, shaping destinies in ways no one could predict. In the end, Lily not only finds her place in the world but proves that anyone, regardless of their background, can play a crucial role in making the world a better place. With a narrative that intertwines hope, resilience, and the thrill of action, this millionaire story is one you won't forget. Join Lily on her journey and discover the profound impact that one simple, kind gesture can have in the grand scheme of things.